Kita bisa mulai atau masih menunggu?
Mohon maaf Mas Bren, masih tidak terdengar suaranya.
Oh, maaf. Ya. Baik, selamat pagi Bapak Ibu sekalian.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for joining us in the fourth breakout session. My name is Anggoro Bren Wiratsongko. You can call me Bren. I will be your moderator today for this discussion. Apologies, speaker's voice is breaking up. Apologies, the speaker's voice is breaking up. Your voice is breaking up, Pak Bren.
Baik, sudah masuk lagi?
Apologies, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Baik.
All right, great.
Ya, baik.
Okay.
Selama 6 tahun terakhir ini saya
For the past 6 years, I have been working
sebagai microfinance specialist
as a microfinance specialist, specifically for renewable energy issues, to ensure that financing is an important issue in finance, especially for domestic biogas. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished participants,
nanti kita akan ada beberapa narasumber
we have several speakers today competent speakers in their fields, in their respective fields, who will be speaking about this topic, biogas. First of all, I would like to introduce Ibu Chabi Batur Romzini, or Ibu Biba. She's been involved in the Indonesia Domestic Biogas Program, or IDBP, for several years now. She conducts data management, monitoring data, development data, and she's also has been involved in carbon mitigation. We will hear her presentation and about financing for IDBP that has been ongoing for the past 10 years. I also would like to introduce to you Ibu Dian Hapsari, or nicknamed Ibu Dian. She is the CSR manager from PT Pertamina. She has extensive 17 years experience in Pertamina. She is also engaged in environment and social responsibility sector with legal background. So it's going to be very fitting to hear her presentation on Pertamina's CSR. It has a great social and environmental responsibility, and we will hear about the biogas program, including domestic biogas. We will also hear from Pak Gilang Septa, head of, he is from the Ministry of Cooperatives and MSMEs. He is the head of the division of Business 1.2 from the Managing Agency for Cooperatives and MSMEs Revolving Funds. He will be speaking about how the government supports. He will be talking about a government support from financing, so that financial agencies or financial institutions can be better tuned in to the renewable energy market, specifically biogas. And number 4, we will hear the experience of Mr. Joseph Fortunatus Semana, or Pak Yos, as he is often called. He is the head of the credit union Jatra Miguna in Yogyakarta province. He has been working with the Biru program to provide credit to their members since 2016. So we will have quite an exciting discussion today. But before we begin, I would like to read off the house rules for the session on multi-party biogas financing innovation in Indonesia. First of all, I would like to ask you to change. Apologies, the speaker's breaking up. Apologies, the speaker's voice is breaking up. Apologies, we've lost the speaker's audio.
Halo, mohon maaf Mas Bren.
Hello, Pak Bren.
Sepertinya mohon maaf Bapak dan Ibu, ada gangguan
Dear
koneksi.
participants, we apologize for the connection for the trouble with the connection. Kindly wait for a few seconds.
Halo Mas Bren.
Hello, Pak Bren.
Oke, silakan Mas Bren.
Okay, Pak Bren.
Koneksinya juga
Apologies. It seems that I'm having connection problems today.
Untuk tata tertib tadi saya lanjutkan
So
mengenai
for the
masalah incubation. Nah,
house
nanti
rules,
Bapak Ibu akan mengajukan pertanyaan, silahkan
if you want to ask a question,
pertanyaan itu diajukan melalui Q&A dengan format sebagai
please
berikut.
share your question in the
Pertanyaan
Q&A
kepada
feature.
siapa
Please write
dan
down
apa
who your question
pertanyaannya.
is addressed to
Kemudian
and
poin ketiga adalah
then write your
selanjutnya
question.
acara
And the
Bapak
third
Ibu
house rule is that during the event,
mikrofon Bapak Ibu akan juga
we kindly
diaktifkan dulu
ask
supaya
you to turn
acara bisa
off
berlangsung
your
dengan lancar.
microphone to
Kemudian
ensure the smoothness
apabila
of the
Bapak Ibu
event.
juga membutuhkan penerjemahan,
If
bisa
you need
diklik ikon di
interpretation,
bajunya, di situ
please
ada
click the
interpretation
globe icon on the bottom of
untuk
your screen.
mendengarkan dalam bahasa
You can
Inggris
select
jika diinginkan.
the language that you
Kemudian
would like to hear.
ada tersedia juga grafik recording pada kegiatan ini dan
There
juga
will also
bisa
be graphic
diakses
recording for the session,
melalui
which
YouTube
you can access
dengan
on
nama
YouTube
search satu dekade biru.
by
Dan jangan
searching
lupa, mohon
Satu
Pak
Dekade
Adiansa
Biru.
juga mengisi daftar tautan yang
We
juga
also
tersedia
ask
di
you
chat room.
to check the
Baik,
link provided in the chat for the
berikutnya
attendance.
kita akan
And now we will,
mungkin berfoto bersama dulu ya.
I think we'll
Adik
do
kita
a
di
group
para
photo first of
pembicara
all with all the
pada
speakers
hari ini. Ada
for
Ibu
today's
Biba, Ibu
session.
Diana,
Ibu
dan Pak
Biba,
Yos. Ada
Pak
Bu
Yos,
Sari dan Pak Gilang.
Bu Sari,
Mohon di
Pak Gilang,
diaktifkan videonya.
please turn
Silakan
on your video
panitia.
for this. Thank you very much. Would the organizing committee please help? Hello, we will begin the group photo on 3, 2, 1. One more time.
1, 2.
3, 2, 1.
Udah Ibu Bapak, terima kasih.
Thank you very much.
Uh, Baik, untuk selanjutnya kita akan mendengarkan penjelasan mengenai
All
bagaimana
right, now let's hear about the development of multi-party financing innovations for the Biru program. And we will hear from Ibu Biba.
Ya, terima kasih atas waktu yang diberikan.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for the time.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat
Hello, good morning.
selamat pagi menjelang siang. Sebelumnya saya mau tanya apakah suara saya terdengar?
First of all, can you hear me?
Agak ada noise di belakang, Bu Biba.
Oh iya.
Well, there's some noise
Sekali kalau misalnya agak
in the background.
di lapangan.
I apologize if there's noise because I'm currently on the ground. I'm constantly because I'm currently doing on the field, but I do hope that you can hear me clearly, even though there is some background noise.
Saya izin
I would like to ask to have my slides shown.
Oke, terima kasih.
All right, thank you very much.
Sebelumnya saya adalah
My name is Chabi Batur Romzini,
orang biasa mengenal saya dengan Biba.
or
Saya
more
sejak tahun 2012,
often called Biba.
saya
Since 2011,
terlibat di
I have been involved in the Biru program. At the time, it was under the HIFOS program and the Rumah Energy Foundation. I have been responsible for data for the Biru program. I'm the database officer for renewable energy.
di dalam 11 tahun, hampir 10 tahun ini.
So in the nearly 10 years that I have been engaged with the Biru program, I work on data regarding to development, monitoring of the biogas constructed in the Biru program. Next slide.
Mohon next slide.
Panitia
Next
bisa.
slide, please.
Oke. Yayasan Rumah Energi ini
So
tergabung
the Yayasan Rumah Energy is the implementer of the domestic biogas program. We have been working for 9 years. We started in November of 2012. And in the nearly 9 years of the operations of the Biru program, more than 119,000 beneficiaries have received the benefits in 13 provinces in Indonesia. We have worked with, assisted more than 25,000 households, provided assistance for more than 20,000 farmers, and more than 60 small, medium enterprises have been incubated in various sectors. Next slide, please.
Berikut adalah 5 fokus program area.
This is the 5 focus program area: renewable energy, food security, capacity building and community economy, poverty alleviation, and reducing the risks of disasters and also climate adaptation. Next slide, please.
Nah, dari fokus program area yang tersebut,
And from the focus areas, these are some of the work that we do, such as policy advocacy. We provide, we supplement organizations with campaign and policy advocacy based on data. We also conduct data analysis by utilizing the collected data from the grassroots levels for analysis and advocacy. In 2020, we conducted an analysis of all the data that we manage. We also conduct product research and development. This aims for various innovation development. We also have business incubation specifically for our partners. And we design programs and implement programs. We look at which programs can be implemented. There's also capacity building and technical assistance for public, for the community and our partners. Next slide, please. This is our priority program, which is the domestic biogas program or program Biru. This first began This program was first initiated by HIFOS and the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources back in 2009. Since 2012, the Biru program has been implemented by Rumah Energy to provide access to the Indonesian communities in using clean energy or clean cooking stove, using biogas and bioslurry, and also to promote the biogas market. Next slide, please. The program objective comprises 4 objectives: to enhance the quality of life of the community or the general public. We also, by using biogas, the people will save money, and we hope that they can make the communities can save money, and they can also have additional income. We also aim to increase the capacity, the technical capacity and skills of entrepreneurs, and also to increase development resilience to create lower carbon development. This is our achievements as of March of 2021. A total of more than 25,000 biogas units have been developed, with beneficiaries from the biogas comprising more than 119,000 people. We work in 13 provinces. In South Sumatra, which is the westernmost area in South Sumatra,
untuk pembangunan biogas tapi
and we have,
satu unit kalau
I think,
tidak salah
just
ini.
one unit there, if I'm not mistaken.
Dan kemudian yang paling timur itu
And
ada
the
di
easternmost,
paling timur di bagian selatan ada di Sumba sebanyak
s-
1.124
or the
unit.
southernmost site where we work is in Sumba in East Nusa Tenggara. And
Bekerja sama dengan
we also have been working in Central Sulawesi, which is the northernmost part of our work.
Nah, berikut adalah
Menit lagi ya, Mbak Biba. Silakan dilanjut, tapi tinggal
Oke.
10 menit lagi ya.
You have one more minute, Ibu.
milestone program biru.
This is the milestones of the Biru program from 2009, and then in 2020, as you can see, we have achieved 25,000 biogas units. Also in 2020, we have done piloting for 25 units of prefabricated biogas PE. In 2019, we designed the Biomiru biodigester. We worked together with the BSNI to do this work. Next slide, please.
Nah, ini merupakan teknologis
This is the biogas Biru program technology that we introduced to the communities. First of all, we have fixed dome unit, and also we have Biomiru. Biomiru aims to be used in urban communities or communities with smaller land area that is available.
dalam 10 tahun program biru
In the 10 years of the Biru program, this is our work, this is the framework that we do. We cooperate with government and financial institutions. We also work with a number of corporates or private sector for financing of the biogas. Next slide, please.
dalam 10 tahun
In the 10 years of the Biru program,
data yang kami kelola
this is the data that we manage,
yang dilakukan
that we have collected
24.200 unit biogas di tahun
in the biogas units.
ternyata
We found that in the Biru program, there are several financing schemes that have been implemented,
sebesar 18,8%.
such as government contribution
Dari pengguna saja
of 29 billion rupiah from the private sector, CSR, and then we also have co-sharing between government and private sector, and this comprises 40%, while cost sharing between CSR and users is as seen on the screen. Based on our analysis, we found that we can conclude that a subsidy of less than 30% is more effective compared to a 30% subsidy or even full grant. This may be related to the value of the ownership value from the users. Therefore, the contribution of cooperatives, we believe that cooperatives assistance is more effective because there's a greater sense of ownership, and when we conduct facilitation with communities, the benefits of the biogas creates greater utility and it is more sustainable. Ibu Biba?
Ya Pak Bren.
Oh, sepertinya terputus.
I think we got disconnected.
Halo.
Hello?
Ya, maaf Bu Biba, tadi agak terputus-putus.
Bu Biba, you were breaking up earlier.
Yang bagian ini.
on
Mbak.
this section?
Mohon maaf sekali.
I apologize for that.
Ya,
Silakan Bro.
Please continue,
Dua
Ibu
menit
Biba.
lagi ya,
sekarang
Mbak.
sudah oke?
2 minutes.
Sekarang sudah oke ya?
Can you hear me now?
Ya, dalam 10 tahun ternyata
So
kami
in the past 10 years, we have obtained data that subsidy of less than 30% is more effective compared to subsidy of 30% or even full subsidy. This is linked, the contribution of the users is linked to their sense of ownership. And however, this can also be affected by
pendampingan pemanfaatan dari
facilitation for the benefits of the biogas. Next slide,
Nah,
please.
berikut tantangan dan inovasi yang kami
These
dapatkan
are
dari
the
atas studi yang
challenges
dilakukan di tahun 2020,
that we have.
di mana
These are the
pertama
challenges
yang
from the
pertama,
study. First of all,
tantangan yang pertama ekspansi pasar,
first challenge is market expansion
inovasinya
to
berupa
reach
fabrikasi
new
biogas
users.
yang dilakukan di akhir
The
tahun
innovation
2020.
is fabrication
Kemudian
of biogas dome.
operation maintenance,
Another challenge is logistics, geographical condition, and the innovation is by using apps and remote sensoring, which we have done, we have started to do in March. Remote sensing, remote sensoring is expected to help us to monitor the digesters remotely, so that if there are challenges, these can be identified. And then reducing the costs from the users. Our innovation for this challenge is by working with various stakeholders to develop blended finance schemes. Cooperatives are the movers to create the biogas market. Based on our analysis, the payment ability of biogas users, the range is 140,000 to 154,000 rupiah per month for 36 months. So for a credit, so the effective credit is about 143 to 154,000 rupiah. Next. Based on our data analysis results, we have several recommendations that we can share to the government and private sector, that we can engage in this scheme, which is to provide financing, revolving loan financing scheme in the co-financing schemes. This will help to move the biogas market. Also, we see that there is an annual growth of 3,750 units with fund allocations of 19 billion rupiah. So that is the end of my presentation. Thank you for your kind attention.
Terima kasih Ibu Biba atas penjelasannya. Di sini saya
Ibu Biba, thank you very
membaca
much
ada beberapa
for your
isu
presentation. I've noted several interesting points here that we can further discuss. First of all, cooperation with private sector and financial institutions such as cooperatives. This is more effective for the sustainability of the program, or to
di sini kontribusi user itu
grow that sense of ownership.
untuk merasa kepemilikan itu di mana
And
user
that
bisa
sense of
berikut
ownership
juga
is very important from the
pemberian
users,
swadaya
where
melalui
users also contribute to some of the payment, maybe through loans or
dana sendiri.
their own
Yang saya catat adalah
financing. The second point
skema
that I've
insentif
noted
ataupun
is the blended finance
pembiayaan
scheme.
yang melibatkan
Blended
banyak
finance,
pihak
which
seperti pihak ketiga,
is a scheme that involves various stakeholders. This seems to be the best solution for the sustainability of the Biru program.
dari penjelasan dari Ibu
We've
Biba,
heard from Ibu Biba,
itu ada potensi pertumbuhan
there is a potential for growth
350 unit
for
per tahun
3,750 units annually if
kredit
the
biogas
credit
ini bisa
scheme for biogas
ataupun skema
can be
pembiayaan
promoted or financing scheme, a multi-stakeholder financing scheme can be developed. So we're not only talking about the loan or the credit, but also support from other stakeholders such as government, CSR programs, or other agencies that can be a part of the financing scheme. In addition, I also noted that there is, apologies, sorry, the second speaker, Ibu Biba. I also noted that there is a potential for providing revolving financing by engaging the government. So I think we can continue on this discussion. We have the next speakers here, and I think the topic is becoming increasingly interesting here. Now let's head on to Ibu Dian Hapsari from PT Pertamina's CSR program. She will be speaking about how about the engagement of corporate CSR for future biogas financing. Thank you, Mas Bren. Assalamualaikum, greetings and may peace be upon us. Good morning, distinguished participants. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I would like to explain about Pertamina's CSR program, specifically for our our village energy independent program. Pertamina's social and environmental responsibility program comprises four pillars. The first is for health issues, specifically mother and children's health. And the second program is for educations and skills. The third program is for social and environmental responsibility in environment and biodiversity. And lastly is for community local economy empowerment. And this is where it relates to the Pertamina Energy Independent Village program. In the implementation of our social and environmental responsibility, we engage community and we conduct community empowerment. This program comprises several stages. We try to educate the public that community empowerment program is not instant and must go through several stages and require time. We try to make sure that the community here is not the object, but instead the subject of our program. Therefore, along with with the communities, facilitation partners, and the government, we work together in the social and environmental responsibility program. We begin with mapping of the local potential. So we look at the local potential in each of the facilitated villages, because surely every facilitated village have different potentials. We conduct the the local mapping first and foremost. We map the potential, natural resources potential, because of course the villages have different natural resources. We map the social, economy, and culture potential, followed by conducting a focus group discussion with communities. We develop this into a roadmap, and this is done for about 3 to 5 years until the community can be self-sufficient. We engage facilitation partners to facilitate our program so that together we can monitor and oversee the program for future programs. Following the potential mapping, we strengthen the foundation. We provide facilitation and infrastructure in accordance with the mapping that has been conducted. This is important because usually local communities need facilities and infrastructure to support the programs that we have mapped together. After that, we begin with the community empowerment program. We try to develop the community's potential because if the community is not interested, then the program cannot be developed and it won't be able to grow. So the key here is the community resources. We work with facilitation partners who are expert in their sectors. We provide trainings, group strengthening, and also a marketing network strengthening so that the businesses or the operations conducted by the communities can continue to develop. We continue with partnership program. When we see that the businesses of our partners continue to grow positively and we see that there's still a lot of potential, so we try to promote a partnership program. Our partners can obtain facilitation, revolving funds. However, of course, they will have to eventually return the loan, the capital loan, according to the agreement. We hope that before the community becomes self-sufficient, we need to evaluate the program. And this is done in all of our social and environmental responsibility programs. So in the implementation of our CSR, we support the government to achieve the sustainable development goals. As Pertamina, as a state-owned enterprise for energy and oil and gas, our focus area is in 10 SDGs. The 10 SDG goals are for strengthening is SDGs 1, 3, and 5, because this is the basic need of local communities, which is poverty alleviation, education, and gender equality. There's also development potential because we are a state-owned enterprise. We with the energy and oil and gas SOE. So we focus on SDG 7, affordable and clean energy. We also focus on, when we do community empowerment, we focus on SDG 8, decent work and economic growth. With regards to our operations, we conduct mitigation and operational risks. This is in line with SDGs 12, 13, 14, 15. And lastly, the basis of our CSR work is based on the principles of the corporate governance, which is linked to SDG 16. This is the distribution of our community-based energy CSR work. This is for biogas. We have 3 programs that we have carried out. One is in Central Sulawesi, the use of alternative energy for cooking and for lighting. We also have a program in East Java for health, safety, security, and environmental resilient village. And lastly, we have a program for utilizing organic waste into biogas and bioslurry. We work together with Roma Energy and local government. We call this social innovations because the key here is the community. The innovation must be done by the community to ensure the program sustainability and so to ensure scaling up of the program. We hope that this can also create economic development among the communities. So this is the welcoming a gate in Central Lampung District in our CSR village. Here, we conducted social mapping, mapping of local potential in the facilitated village to look at the natural resources, social and cultural potential as well. Here, In Central Lampung District, in Pungur Sub-District, there are 9 villages here with livestock potential. Livestock including cattle, goats. So we see that this is something that can be further developed. We begin with a partnership program, first of all, because the livestock program has been ongoing for several years. So we begin with the partnership program and the cycle, as I've explained. Following the partnership program, we've noted very good potential. So we try to develop this. Following the partnership program, we try to see how to ensure that the manure does not create waste, does not create health problems. So we work with Rumah Energy and the community groups, which is the women farmers groups. We conducted mapping of the facilitated partners. We found uh, those that meet the requirements. So we selected 40 beneficiaries. The 40, these are 40 beneficiaries with sufficient number of livestock. These community members have large enough land area where we installed biogas facilitation and also hydroponic farming. So the 40 beneficiaries were selected out of the 9 villages. Afterward, along with Rumah Energy and local government, we conducted socialization and education programs. So before we begin the development, we conducted education, socialization, and also Rumah Energy. They created brochures and flyers so that the local communities can read and practice this before we started building. This is critical because the main point here is not the construction itself, but how do we make sure this program is sustainable, is continuous. That is a challenge for all of us as program implementers to ensure that the program won't be abandoned once it's completed. Following trainings, education, and discussion and FGDs along with community members, along with Rumah Energy, we constructed 40 units of biogas installations. We invited the local community, so they are not just on the receiving end. We invite them to actually be involved in the construction phase by digging their lands to cultivate that sense of ownership. We ask them to provide the rice husks or the rice straws because those are available there. We also ask the communities to provide the pipes connecting the gas from the biogas digester to the homes. This helps to make the community have that sense of ownership of that biogas. Rumah Energy also invited local communities there to create jobs for local communities. 33 people assisted us during the construction, uh, and more assisted us for the hydroponic construction. Thankfully, after the construction and the units are used, we saw several benefits. We asked the local communities about what are the benefits. First of all, they are able to use biogas for cooking, and they save money. In the past, the local communities used the subsidized LPG, but now they're able to save money by using the biogas. And then the information from the local communities, previously they had to pay electricity, about 50,000 rupiah for 14 days. By using biogas, so they don't have to use rice cooker, they can save money up to 20 days. So they only spend 50,000 for up to 20 days. In addition, they can use the bio slurry for fertilizer. So they no longer are dependent on chemical fertilizers, and they can use the hydroponic pl- they can practice hydroponics farming so they can grow their own vegetables. In the past, they purchased the vegetables 5 to 10,000 rupiah per day. So now they can save that money, 100,000 to 300,000 rupiah per month, and they save that money from by growing their own vegetables instead of buying them. By doing so, by growing the hydroponic vegetables, they can also sell these vegetables and also make additional income. They don't use chemical fertilizers, which means so they produce their own organic fertilizers. They don't have to spend money on chemical fertilizers. This means that they get healthier vegetables and they also save money in that way. Uh, Regarding SDGs, this is in line with SDGs 2, 7, 8, and 13. Next slide, please. This is several of our documentation. As you can see here, the farmers here has cattle. This is a photo of digester construction where the gas can be used for cooking for the local communities. Not only biogas installation, we also installed hydroponic farming system, which allowed the local communities to consume or sell the produce. This is the collaboration that we implement with Yayasan Rumah Energy, local government, and the beneficiaries. We have a collaboration with the beneficiaries as well. They are not only in the receiving end, but they are also part of the program. We provide financial support in the program. We also conduct socialization, selection of the beneficiaries. We conduct social media campaign and also in mass media. We also facilitate the impact of the program with Rumah Energy. Rumah Energy, they conduct facilitation, um, develop the biogas units and hydroponic units along with the partners and also local government. Here, we ask the local government to provide extension services to review and evaluate existing programs. Beneficiaries here are responsible to ensure the sustainability of the program and to continue to grow the business. We hope that after the local communities are able to get additional income from the biogas and hydroponic, and also for the existing MSMEs in the communities, because there are many of them. We help with facilitation and partnership programs. We hope that the results can help to rebuild the biogas units um, to ensure the continuation of the program. So thank you very much. I hope that the information has been useful, and I hope that the program that we have implemented can be beneficial for the local communities. Thank you very
Ya, baik.
much.
Terima kasih Bu Sari.
Thank you, Busari. Apologies, the speaker's breaking up.
Terima kasih Bu Sari atas paparannya, sangat menarik. Di sini
Busari, thank you very much for your presentation. There are several main points that I can underline. I see that uh, the program, the CSR program for self-sufficient village involves various stakeholders from the start of the program to its operations, so that for the future, this may be able to be scaled up. It's very possible to scale up this effort. Other factors is the emphasis on education. This is an important point to ensure that the program is sustainable and is not uh, uh, abandoned. If one day Because if one day there's no CSR program any longer there, we need to make sure that the beneficiaries can continue to they can continue these businesses, and biogas can provide a source of income for these families. This is very interesting. We also would like to see the government's role here. The government, so there are a private sector here on the ground. We have the corporates, and also later on we'll hear from the cooperatives. Um, they can help with the implementation of financing of biogas on the ground. But what about the government, specifically from policies? What can government provide related to these policies? Maybe through rotating funds, revolving funds. So we will hear from Pak Gilang Septa, Mr. Gilang Septa, the head of Business 1.2 Subdivision from the Managing Agency for Cooperatives and MSMEs Revolving Funds, or Lpdb. We will hear the government's role about what are some of the possible intervention programs. Pak Gilang, the floor is yours. Thank you, Pak Bren. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, participants. Thank you very much for the opportunity. We wish you good health. I wish you good health. So I would like to ask for your kind attention. Um, the person who was supposed to speak here today is Mr. Purwanto. However, because he had last minute change in his schedule, he asked me to speak on his behalf in this forum. I hope that what I share with you can be useful for you all, specifically for the participants in this forum. Before I begin, I would like to greet the other speakers. My name is Gilang Septa from the Managing Agency for Cooperatives and MSMEs Revolving Funds, or LPDB. Hello, Ibu Biba, Ibu Dian, Pak Yosef. I think I've met with Pak Joseph September of last year. Yes, that's right. We met back in Jogja, if I'm not mistaken. How are you? I hope that you're in good health, sir. I'm well, thank you. All right, great. Great. With regards to what I have mentioned, so with regard to my presentation, I think I will speak in general, in a general sense. So I think LPDB, or the Managing Agency for Cooperatives and MSMEs Revolving Funds. So I think this can provide loans or capital for cooperatives who need capital. We focus on business actors who are feasible, however, those who may not be bankable. With regards to alternative financing, if we see here today, there are many alternative financing. So this is just generally speaking, not specific. This is generally speaking, not specifically for biogas. In general, there is financing from banks and alternatives such as equity funding, security crowdfunding, financial technology that uses peer-to-peer lending. These are some alternative financing managed by the private sector. Um, for the moderator, the financing aims for MSMEs and cooperatives. There are two options. The first is the credit program from the government. So there is the the KUR scheme, or the Community Business Credit Scheme. There's also revolving funds. This is managed by various bodies, including Lpdb. We are appointed by the government to manage funds from the national budget to provide financial assistance to businesses. For your information, Lpdb focus on cooperatives. Will focus on cooperatives for MSMEs. We have not begun financing there because we are still uh, because our work depends on the mandate of the Ministry of Cooperatives. And for the biogas business, we can look at the business model to determine what is the right financing scheme. Maybe Pak Joseph can share his experience and testimony as a partner of LPDB. So can I go to my next slide, please? This is the strategy for LPDB in 2021. In general, we have three strategies that we will implement. The first is as incubator, secondly is facilitation, and lastly, the core of our business is disbursement of these finance of the funding. We have conventional funding as well as the Sharia or the Islamic financing. So it depends on the partners. If they apply to LPDB, we look at their management scheme. Are they operating based on conventional or Sharia scheme? The target of our strategy is for cooperatives in the real sector. We still focus on coffee export, fisheries, and agriculture cooperatives. We can further elaborate this regarding the financing for biogas. Because honestly speaking, the biogas sector is quite new in LPDB. So I heard earlier from the previous speakers, they have very good presentations, and so it's a good way for us to learn from. It's good for us to learn about the biogas sector from upstream to downstream so that we can design a better financing scheme for the biogas industry. With regards to incubator, we understand that the market segmentation is still premature. If we do not do the incubation, this will create further trouble in the future. Where are we going to finance? What are we going to finance? There are many cooperatives out there, but if we look at the quality, they might be limited. So these are some of the strategies that we implement for the future. For Sharia financing, we focus on livestock, specifically dairy cattle, and also BMT groups, and also for cooperatives that are based on Islamic schools. You may have heard of several Islamic Islamic study schools that also are work on agribusiness. In the future, LPDB will wants to facilitate the work for communities. We want to develop an online platform. In the past, when we get proposal submissions, there will be piles of paperwork. But in the future, we have our online platform where applicants can just submit their documents and do the process online through the platform. So these are the rates for the services that we apply. There are 4 channels of services rates. The first is for what we call national economic recovery, which is a 3% rate annually. If we convert this, this is about 1.5% annually, and this is very low interest, the lowest interest in the world, in my opinion. Also, we have services for savings and loans with 7% interest, uh, sliding interest, or about 3.5% annually. For the real sector, it's 5%. And we also have Sharia profit sharing scheme of 40 to 60. For partners in the National Economy Recovery Scheme, we have several criterias here. We look at the business scheme. Are they in a position for recovery, or are they in the survivor phase? So we focus on cooperatives in the recovery phase of when we offer 3% interest annually. This, these are some of the requirements for cooperatives and SMEs. For cooperatives, the ceiling for the financial assistance is 250 million to 200 billion. You can read yourself what are the requirements. These are some of the financing schemes that we implement. We provide capital for maximum of 5 years, investment for a maximum of 10 years, and also for the payment schemes, we have grace period of 12 months. This is, of course, adjusted to the business model. Next, please. These are some of the guarantees that must be prepared by cooperatives. The first, for cooperatives that are working in the financial sector, we we have what's called the fiducia loan for the sector, for the real sector, in accordance with existing regulations from the Ministerial Regulation number 4 of 2020. We provide at least 80% a guarantee accumulatively. And for the asset guarantee, this is for cooperatives, oversight, and cooperative officers. We need to have the agreement of the rights holder. This is this is the a summary of my presentation. I hope that later on in the Q&A and discussion session, we can have further discussion because I know that we have limited time this morning. I think that's all for me. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih Pak Gilang atas penjelasannya. Oke, saya mencatat ada
Thank
poin di
you. So I've noted an important point here.
untuk Lpdb
For the Lpdb,
kalau ada misalnya semacam
in Lpdb, if there are a financial support scheme, it focuses on cooperatives and not, apologies, the speaker's breaking up,
sektor real yang lain dulu. Kemudian
or
yang
other sectors.
ada beberapa
Secondly, there are several schemes that we can adjust.
kategori
For
koperasi real, kemudian simpan
so we
pinjam,
have
kemudian juga
savings and loan
pembiayaan berbasis syariah atau koperasi syariah.
and Sharia cooperative. Apologies, the speaker's breaking up.
Kita akan juga mendengar
Now we will hear,
oleh Pak Gilang
as we've heard from
bagaimana
Pak Gilang,
dari koperasi sendiri. Artinya di sini
what
koperasi
about from the
sebagai
cooperatives point of view?
lembaga garis depan
Cooperatives
yang
here
menyalurkan
is
kredit
the frontline
pembangunan
agency
biogas atau
disbursing
pengadaan biogas ini
uh,
kepada anggotanya.
loans for biogas
Apa
to
yang
its members.
dirasakan oleh koperasi
What
sendiri dan juga oleh
is their
anggota koperasi sendiri.
experience?
Di sini hadir
And
Pak
what is the
Yosef
experience
Semana
of the members? Here we have Mr.
Gerakan
Yosef
Koperasi Kredit Indonesia
Semana
atau Credit Union yang
from
mewakili
the Jatramiguna Credit
dari
Union
Pusat
from
Koperasi Kredit Jatra Miguna yang
Jatramiguna Credit Union.
menjelaskan pengalaman kita
He will be
harapan kita
sharing
pengalamannya
with
mengenai
us his
bagaimana menyalurkan
experience
kredit
on
biogas ini sebenarnya
disbursing
kepada anggota
credit for
yang adalah
biogas
para pengguna biogas.
to their members.
Tempat dan waktu kami
So
persilahkan Pak
here
Yosef.
we're talking about the biogas users. Pak Yosef, the floor is yours.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Moderator, Pak Bren. Selamat
Thank you,
pagi.
Pak Bren, Mr. Moderator. Good morning, Mr. Gilang,
Bapak Ibu pembicara
and
selamat siang.
the rest of the speakers.
Warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Hello, good morning, greetings, and may peace be upon us.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
My name
Saya
is
Semana,
Yosef Semana,
pengurus Puskot
one of the officers in Jatra Miguna Credit Union.
di daerah
We,
Jakarta.
there are 23 of us in Yogyakarta with 38,000 members.
Menyimak pembicara-pembicara
We've been listening to the previous speakers, and it's been very good
kami juga yang
for the services provided to local communities.
sangat mengharapkan
We
dan kami juga sudah pernah
want
menikmati pelayanan
and we need these assistance. We have had experience of receiving assistance from Lpdb, as Pak Gilang said. One of our cooperatives is a beneficiary of the Lpdb funds. Thank you, Pak Gilang, for providing loans at low interest for our members to enjoy.
ini adalah salah satu koperasi sekunder
We are a secondary cooperative.
Yogyakarta dan
We work in Yogyakarta province and surrounding areas.
kami bisnis
Our core business is savings and loan.
sebagian
The source of our capital, the majority is from the members themselves, from the members. So we have savings,
wajib sukarela, kemudian
whether it's the primary savings, voluntary savings,
kami sebut
non-share savings,
harian, lalu simpanan sukarela,
daily
ada simpanan
savings,
kemudian
education savings,
hari raya.
and also religious holiday savings.
Kebutuhan masyarakat
We accommodate their needs that we can,
saat bisa dibutuhkan
and these savings can be disbursed at any time.
karena anggota masyarakat kami itu sebagian
Our members
anggota itu sebagian adalah masyarakat kelas
are, the majority are grassroots communities. And for many of them, it's very difficult for them to access formal financing bodies like conventional and modern banks. The credit union's existence in the community to provide financial services to the community because we are closer to them, and also to increase public interest. We manage our agency professionally and reliably. We provide services for our members, and to give them better services, we work with various partners, one of which is, as Pak Gilang said earlier, he has visited one of our beneficiaries, and we have received assistance from Lpdb with a capital of 3 billion rupiah. We are greatly assisted by this. because during the COVID-19 many of our members need additional funding, which we have distributed to them. One of our partners, in addition to Lpdb, is Yayasan Rumah Energi Indonesia, or YRE. They have been working hard to promote biogas energy to increase the local community's income, specifically credit union members. This is something that we've been doing for several years now. In 2020, because of the COVID pandemic, we have some difficulties in conducting our work specifically outside of Java area. We also work to do development in East Nusa Tenggara. Many of the communities there are cattle farmers as well, cattle, chicken, and pig farmers. To, to build the biogas, we need to make sure that the communities can understand this. As we've heard from Ibu Sari from Pertamina, who said that there is a government program for mitigating pollution. We try, as an organization that works at grassroots level, we try to make sure that the community understands, and we want to make sure we are creating healthier communities. Another objective for biogas development is to provide economic profits. The byproduct of this biogas digester is organic fertilizers. This can be used or sold, and the produce from these farmers can also be sold. Farmers are very proud of this, and they're thankful to the Yayasan Rumah Energi for pioneering this work with the credit union communities. Another benefit here is to provide understanding of health. The health is, of course, is something that we have to emphasize repeatedly. Because a healthy community that depends on the community themselves. Once they have good understanding of health and sanitation, they will think twice about what they do. The main business of savings and loan cooperatives is to facilitate primary cooperatives to educate the members. We have to provide understanding to the members that in their lives, what they do, you have to start with the communities as well. We provide assistance for our cooperatives. We have to support them, because if we only rely on their ability, then it's not enough. It's not enough to just rely on their capacity. In Yogyakarta, there are many small-scale credit unions. They need support from various sources. One of our main supporters is the Indonesian credit union based in Jakarta. We also provide protection of the savings and loans of our members. When members save money in the credit union, their savings are protected by insurance, but it is managed internally by the credit union. We call this DAPERMA, the Joint Protection Funds. We provide protection of up to 30 million rupiah, and also for loans up to 100 million rupiah. So that means if our credit union member pass away, their savings are returned until they are 60 years old. Their savings can be returned 100%, and also they can obtain benefit of 100%. So their surviving family members can receive up to 60 million rupiah if the members die. So similar, this is similar. So in this sense, by taking part in credit unions or cooperatives, it's the same as having like insurance. Also, when our members apply for a loan up to 100 million rupiah, if they pass away, then their family do not need to return that loan. We just ask for a certificate of death. We ask for the death certificate, and we claim the loan from Daperma. With this kind of insurance, our members will have greater trust. This community financing development, this is managed by the people, and the people can take benefits and enjoy the benefits. The function of the secondary credit union is to provide internal monitoring. We audit the cooperatives under the Credit Cooperative Center. We are a secondary cooperative. We conduct internal audits to review the governance, whether these are done in accordance with cooperative accounting standards. If not, we provide efforts to improve the governance. Also, we motivate primary cooperatives in solidarity services among cooperative members. So we see that the member of cooperatives have that sense of solidarity. If a cooperative member passes away, if they pass away, the organization provides them a benefit of 3 million rupiah, no matter if they pass away at whatever age. So our work bridge the local community with the Indonesian Credit Union. Pak Joseph, you have 3 minutes left. Can you go straight to the biogas part of the presentation? All right, for biogas, we have conducted several efforts with its own services, which is to provide a special interest to members who want to apply for loans for biogas development. We do this in 3 provinces: Yogyakarta, Central Java, and East Nusa Tenggara. We have 2 cooperatives that have national legal entities, which is Damita and Dharma Prima Kita credit unions. They have done development in various areas, such as Lampung and East Nusa Tenggara provinces, in addition to Yogyakarta and Central Java. We want to provide a scheme for services in biogas development so that they can feel that, well, we are receiving these services with special interest. We want them to feel proud that this organization really does care about these credit union. That's why the officers must work the best that they can to provide the best services, including working with the government. Earlier, we've heard from Pak Gilang that we were able to access Lpdb in 2020. He was the one who actually came here to check or to verify the data at the time. It's because of his hard work that we are able to get financing from the government for the community. For 2021 and the following years, we are focusing on community members who own livestock, cattle, poultry, livestock. We have not worked on the waste management because we don't have our experts for that yet. We have to work together with the Yayasan Rumah Energy. They are the ones who can support us. We can only help to bridge their concepts so that the general community can access them. For biogas development, credit union provides its own loan that is affordable, accurate, and beneficial. That is the core. That is the essence. We provide services for biogas development that is affordable, fast, and also we conduct monitoring. We have seen numerous results. As we've heard from Bu Chabi earlier, that was one of the sites was with our members, one of the digester sites. So, Pak Bren, that is all my presentation. If any of the audience members would like to ask questions, yeah, I will be very happy to answer. Thank you very much for your kind attention.
Terima kasih Pak Yos atas penjelasannya. Di sini saya melihat ada beberapa poin yang bisa kita cermati dan mungkin bisa
Thank you,
kita
Pak Yos. I have taken some notes here for further discussion. First of all,
Koperasi CU melihat bahwa
credit union
biogas ini bukan
views biogas
sebuah bisnis tetapi
not only as a business,
untuk atau program
but an opportunity,
kesejahteraan anggota sendiri. Jadi
a program with an opportunity to improve the welfare of its members. So we're not only looking at the financial aspect of providing profits for the cooperatives, but we also need to look at how members can be educated about the benefits of biogas by engaging, by getting the various benefits for members. Secondly, from the Credit Cooperative Center, which is a secondary cooperatives above the primary cooperatives, we have the local savings and loans products that primary cooperatives can use to have support for financing, specifically for financing biogas. The second point here is scope. Pak Yos, you mentioned that even though you work in Yogyakarta, but your work extends to to Central Java as well as East Nusa Tenggara. This is very interesting. So now, distinguished participants, we're going to go to the Q&A session. We would like to ask you, those of you, if you have any questions to the panelists, please write in the chat box. Please make sure that you write down who you would like to ask. Now, in this Q&A or discussion session, here we have Ibu Becca Angelin, who will ask a few things to our panelists. Ibu Becca, the floor is yours.
Baik, terima kasih Mas Bren. Terima kasih banyak Bapak dan Ibu sekalian. Seru saya mengikuti dari
Hello everybody, thank you.
presentasi yang saya pikirkan itu adalah gimana caranya inisiatif setiap narasumber itu bisa
It's interesting to see the initiative from the various speakers as we head towards the biogas target. I have several questions. The first is from Mbak Sari, who is the CSR manager of Pertamina. I I would like to know what is Pertamina's strategy to scale up the energy independent programs. Thank you for speaking about the sustainability aspect. For the scale up, is it likely for Pertamina to collaborate with other partners such as local government or village-owned enterprise? My second question is to Pak Gilang. It's very interesting what you said about incubation for cooperatives and SMEs. Based on the data that I've seen from Cooperatives Ministry, there are about 20,000 cooperatives in all of Indonesia. Which ones of them are classified as healthy cooperatives and can be engaged to support the 1 million domestic biogas program? Also, from Lpdb, following incubation, how do you get more cooperatives and CU to enter into the biogas biogas sector, or even other renewable energy sector with other technologies? But Joseph, my question for you is simple. What are the lessons learned? What is the lessons learned that you've gathered about the Biru program? And what can you share with us to increase the biogas portfolio for credit unions? That's all my question. Thank you very much. We've also noted, on behalf of the organizers, we've also compiled the many questions that have come in from the participants. Thank you, Ibu Beka. I would like to allow the panelists to respond. Let's begin with Ibu Sari.
Baik, terima kasih Mas Bren, terima kasih Mbak Rebecca.
Thank you, Mas Bren.
Benar sekali Mbak Rebecca bahwa di dalam
Yes, it's true that in all of the program, we engage communities, whether it's village-owned enterprises or cooperatives. In our CSR program, in our environmental and social responsibility program, we have various programs here. We work with our facilitated partners to provide revolving funds to develop their businesses. We have, of course, several requirements there. And our partners must return the loan in accordance with the agreed terms. For each program, we engage the partners. We have several tourism villages where we engage village-owned enterprises because the potential of the village-owned enterprise is not just to develop, but also to monitor these programs along with partner or consultants. We usually have facilitation partners or consultants, usually. Community empowerment programs take time. There are several stages that must be implemented, which require detailed monitoring and facilitation so that the programs can continue to develop. Thank you.
Masih di mute Mbak Rebecca.
Mbak Rebecca, you're still muted. Thank you very much, Bu Sari.
Oh, saya boleh lanjut lagi, berarti Mbak Sari, apakah memang ada
Can I ask a follow-up question? Is there a likelihood for example, Pak Gilang or Pak Yosef come to Pertamina to ask to collaborate? Can that be done? First of all, our programs are done for facilitated villages located 0.5 0 to 5 kilometers from our production centers. There are many facilitated villages near our operations because we have operations upstream to downstream. If so, please coordinate with our CSR staff on the ground. Here in the headquarters, we also conduct monitoring. If it is needed and the work does fit the social mapping that we've done, we're open to cooperation. But of course, we need further analysis and discussion with our team on the ground. Thank you.
Baik, terima kasih Mbak Sari, sangat informatif dan mudah-mudahan juga saya
Thank you, Mbak Sari. It's very informative, and I'm sure it's also informative to the other participants.
Terima kasih.
Thank you.
ya mungkin Pak Gilang atau Pak Yosef
Maybe Pak Gilang or Pak Yosef,
menjawab pertanyaan dari
if you can answer my question, please, either of you.
Ini supaya kita santai sedikit ya, mohon maaf ini saya jadi tanpa bermaksud untuk menjadi moderator, mohon maaf.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to overstep my role here on the moderator's role.
Mungkin mohon izin saya dulu ya.
Okay, so maybe I will speak first.
Terkait dengan pertanyaan
With regards to the question about the incubation program that we have been doing, yes, as you've said, we do have many cooperatives throughout Indonesia. 126,000 cooperatives in Indonesia. However, based on the mapping by our research and development team, less than 5% out of the 126,000 cooperatives are categorized as those having good governance, has good business feasibility, with good financial portfolio. From the Ministry of Cooperatives, a healthy cooperative is based on its governance, based on how many times they conduct the annual meetings, for example. For us, that's not enough just to look at the governance because we are a financial agency. We have to look at this from various points of views. We have to look at the business condition. So from that 5%, we have to from that 5%, we have to raise them, and for cooperatives that we see as not being healthy enough, we have to incubate them first. And we engage cooperatives, specifically credit unions, so that they can become an extension for financing, specifically in this biogas sector. I think what we've heard from Pertamina, Ibu Busari, apologies, I forgot her name. So from what I understand, Pertamina has a good program of a facilitated village in Indonesia, where they work on the biogas sector. But I think it's good that the facilitated villages, I think we should look for cooperatives there in the facilitated villages as vehicles, so that the members in those villages can become cooperative members. Maybe Pak Yosef can also share what is the criteria of the cooperatives that we can finance, because I think Pak Yosef has that experience already, to make sure that we can have a better focused financing scheme. Thank you.
Terima kasih Pak Gilang. Pak, saya tadi sudah menghitung 5%.
Thank you. So 5% of 100, so 5% is still quite a lot. So So looking at the number of cooperatives, we can achieve that biogas target. So I think this is something that we can address. Well, I think the data is quite promising. However, we need to we have to change the mindset so that cooperatives can see that biogas is a common issue for them. Thank you. We have another question from, we have a similar question from the floor, which Pak Bren will ask later. Thank you very much.
Bu BK yang jelas, kami
Pak Yos, the floor is yours. So credit union, as credit union, we have supported Yayasan Rumah Energy. We've been supporting them since 2019, and this has been ongoing since then. However, COVID has delayed some of the work. There are 150 biogas that we are planning to develop. We have the beneficiaries in place. We just need to do the field work, the groundwork. We hope that the COVID pandemic can end soon, so that our plans for biogas development can be implemented. For financing, Pak Gilang earlier said that Lpdb is ready to support cooperatives that have cooperatives with governance that meet the government standards. And these requirements, among others, are that the cooperatives must have legal entities, they have to have clear structures, clear organizational structure, they have to be audited, they have short-term, long-term, medium-term vision. They must have clear plans for sustainability, for business sustainability. As cooperatives on the ground, we have to work to the best of our ability. We have to make sure what we do meets the ideals, the dreams of our country's forefathers. We begin the development of cooperatives through education. And all of our officers must pass competency tests. For cooperatives that are submitting proposals to Lpdb, their cooperative officers must pass the competency test. They must have skills, but they have to have the knowledge and skills required to develop their cooperatives. And an attitude is also measured there. What are some of the attitudes that cooperative officers must have? Because we want to have the members to save money, and members must save money in the cooperative, but also they must be able to return that loan. So we make sure these are some of the things that become the focus of that competency test. We need to think as if we're serving ourselves. For biogas, we are working in coordination with in Yogyakarta, Central Java, and East Nusa Tenggara. We hope that the biogas development program can be implemented well through our cooperation. Thank you. Thank you very much, Pak Yosef. Thank you. Here we also have a question from Ibu Rahmawati. She asked about the potential in Singolabu district. And
kawasan wisata kampung susu.
there is current there are they have about 100 cattle there, and there are plans to create the area as priority tourism site to develop the Singolangu Milk Village tourism site. However, they're facing issues with the with the manure waste management.
Bisa langsung
So
dijawab oleh
the
Ibu Bika
asker
mungkin.
hopes
Ya,
to get
Chabi, silakan Ibu Bika.
support here and seeks partnership with Biru program and Yayasan Rumah Energi. Maybe Pak Beka can answer.
Mungkin nanti akan dihubungi sama tim kami yang
Ibu Rahmawati, thank you for your question. We have a team in East Java.
Jawa Tengah ya.
Sorry, is that Central Java? No, it's in East Java. I'm sorry. Okay, in East Java. We have a team in East Java
yang base-nya di Madiun.
based in Madiun in East Java. That's not too far from Magetan, right?
Nanti akan dihubungi sama tim kami agar bisa disosialisasikan mengenai program biogas 5.
Our team can contact you to help develop the domestic biogas program. So I think that's all from me.
Ibu Biba. Ini ada pertanyaan selanjutnya juga untuk Ibu
Thank you,
Biba.
Biba. We also have another question for Ibu Biba.
Apa follow up-nya dari YRE setelah
What
mengetahui
is
bahwa
the
besaran
follow-up
biogas
from
berpengaruh
YRE?
biogas itu sendiri? Pertanyaan yang kedua adalah
The second
bagaimana
question
YRE
is
dapat
how
mendorong lebih
can
banyak
YRE
pembiayaan yang non-konvensional?
can help support
Dan juga
non-conventional
pertanyaan ketiga,
funds,
bagaimana dua pertanyaan
non-conventional financing. Okay, so we have two questions.
Iya, mungkin saya bisa bisa jawab. Tapi nanti kalau misalnya ada yang kurang, Ibu Beka bisa menambahkan.
Thank you very much. Maybe Bu Beka can add if I'm still missing some of these points. For 2020,
Karena banyak
during the pandemic, because we see that there are
terpending pembangunan
a lot of the development is pending. What are some of the things that we can do is engage cooperation. For example, we engage various groups for cooperation. We also have intensive discussion with the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources for Biogas program so that we can engage them for various financing schemes and also with Lpdb. In 2021, we have submitted some recommendations for cooperatives so that they can obtain financing from Lpdb. One has been assessed, and there has been meeting with the cooperatives, and two others are still submitting documents. These are some of the things that we have done through engagement with various stakeholders. For the other question, based on our analysis, our data analysis, we were able to see that we were able to see the capacity from the community, and this is something that we engage with various organizations. With these results, we were able to create a program or proposal for various stakeholders that there are community members that need assistance for financing. With regard to this functionality, we push for the community's contribution. So they're not only receiving the assistance, we also facilitate them so that they can use biogas and also they can utilize the bioslurry as well. Maybe Ibu Rebecca can add to this.
Baik, nanti kalau mungkin tambahan Bu BK bisa kita setelah
Thank you very much. Maybe we can hear from Bu Beka later on after we hear from the others. The next question is for Ibu Sari. How can Pertamina can scale up its CSR program to be further engaged to push for the 1 million domestic biogas? Another question is for Pak Gilang. How can Lpdb look at bioslurry as something that is interesting for cooperatives? Another question for Pak Gilang. How can you increase the number of credit unions and cooperatives so that you can reach that 1 million domestic biogas? We also have a question for Pak Yos. What kind of support is needed so that cooperatives can be a part in achieving the 1 million domestic biogas? Those are some of the questions that we have received. Maybe we start with Ibu Dian.
Baik, terima kasih Mas Bren dan terima kasih.
Thank you, Mas Bren.
Siapa ya Mas Bren?
Thank you for the
Kami ini
askers.
tadi sudah saya sampaikan
So,
bahwa mendapat
as I have mentioned,
untuk fokus
we
kepada
have
program
received
desa
a
Indonesia.
mandate
Jadi,
from the Ministry of State-Owned Enterprises to develop independent villages program. We develop the potential in those villages, the natural resources. That's what we develop.
Banyak sekali potensinya pastinya.
There are many potential,
Biogas,
not only biogas, but also solar power, wind power,
Nah, terkait
hydropower, and others.
tidak hanya
With regards to biogas,
hanya di Lampung Tengah saja, tapi di beberapa
the work is not only in Central Lampung, but we've also have other work done.
sosial yang
This is based on the social mapping.
masih sangat-sangat bisa dikembangkan.
And this is something that we can further develop.
Program yang sudah kami jalankan ataupun terhadap
We can further develop existing programs or new programs in the facilitated villages. Surely, our CSR colleagues on site continue to collaborate with local government and conduct discussion with the local communities to develop that independent village program. This includes biogas from livestock manure. There is huge opportunities for us to scale up the utilization of biogas. Thank you very much.
Ya baik, terima kasih Bu Sari. Silakan Pak.
Thank you, Bu Sari. Thank you, Pak Gilang. Pak Gilang, your turn, please. Thank you very much. So the question is about how biogas can be a focus of Lpdb. Biogas is an alternative to renewable energy, and this is attractive for Lpdb. The government program, as we've heard from Bu Sari, Pertamina is also focusing and is concerned about such developments. In the future, we will further explore this to see the business model. As a financial institution, we would like to get straight to the point. Biogas can become a part of our portfolio either this year or next year. But we do need to be ready to develop a cooperative vehicle that can be ready to be financed. And we need to think about the financial scheme. Maybe Bu Bibah can provide insight to Lpdb about the outlook. And we will try to collaborate with Pak Yosef, who has been our partner, to see what is the best fitting financing scheme for biogas. Is it through savings and loan scheme or project financing? I think the we can have more discussion on this. Also, how do we get more cooperatives so that we can finance specifically for biogas? I think what we have to do together is specifically for credit unions. We view that credit unions have a better experience and governance and can become an extension and can become an extension to be our partners in supporting the biogas sector. From Lpdb, we at the moment we don't quite have an idea of the future scheme with Lpdb. Therefore, we ask for your inputs from Ibu Biba, Busari, Pak Joseph. What do you think is the best formulation for this? But basically, Lpdb is ready to fully support the government's program specifically for renewable energy. Thank you very much.
Ya, Yos, silakan.
Pak Yos, the floor is yours. With regards to cooperatives' support to reach the 1 million biogas target, 1 million biogas user target, we continue to provide education to local communities about the benefits of biogas. Secondly, we continue to finance biogas so that the local communities are no longer hesitant in constructing biogas. Sometimes the local communities are just they're stuck on the cost, like this is too expensive and we can't finance that, and I can't pay for it. But as Pak Gilang said, the government is willing to facilitate these activities by they're willing to finance this through cooperatives. We are working to the best of our ability to ensure that the government program can be implemented in according to all these expectations. On behalf, as a cooperative, we do work hard to manage this trust so that the local communities can continue to enjoy and we also want to make sure that the government's target of improving the welfare of communities can be implemented. The government needs to monitor the cooperatives that have been trusted to manage the government funds. We are ready, as cooperatives, we are ready to manage these funds accountably and transparently by providing the human resources. We need to have to make sure that the cooperative officers have adequate skills, competency, and attitudes. As a cooperative officer in Yogyakarta, we are ready for this, or in any other parts of Indonesia, as long as we have developed the relationship with with the people in the various regions. In East Nusa Tenggara, we have created a piloting with 12 cubic meter biogas. This can provide benefits for 3 homes. This is for their lamp in the house and to provide gas for cooking in the houses. As Busari mentioned, there's a lot of benefits if once the local communities feel the benefit. But but first of all, they need to feel the benefit first. As a group, as cooperatives, we are close to the people. We want to give them good news. We want to show them that the government is doing a lot of good things for the prosperity of the people. Thank you very much.
Terima kasih, Pak Yos. Ini masih ada
Thank you, Pak Yos. We still have one more question from Pak Huda Fatul Aziz.
Bagaimana caranya agar bisa mendapatkan subsidi terkait biogas tersebut? Kayaknya ini lebih kepada.
So how can we get subsidy for the biogas? I think this question is for Ibu Biba.
Ya, terima kasih. Dengan Pak
Thank you very much.
Aziz ya.
Okay, Pak Fauda Fatul Aziz.
Mendapatkan subsidi terkait biogas.
To obtain subsidy for biogas in the BIRU program, from the production value, we can provide subsidy from the managed funds so that you can contact the development partners or let us know where you are, and we can have our team contact you so that our team on the ground can contact the development or the construction partners to work with you. Thank you very much. We still have time for one question. One more question. But it seems that we've addressed all the questions. So, distinguished participants, I think the session on multi-party financing innovation for biogas in Indonesia can be concluded. First of all, this multi-party financing still requires collaboration from various stakeholders, from government, private sector here meaning corporates through their CSR programs or other programs. Also, financial services, financial institutions. This is still linked to the candidate beneficiaries who would like to access the biogas technology through loans. So, as we've seen earlier, there are loan programs available for biogas. We just need to think about how to develop this further to make sure that we have mutually beneficial schemes between the users or the lenders and the financial institutions. There is another conclusion. The government, through the Ministry of Cooperatives and Lpdb, they are open to multi-party financing schemes. So there needs to be, there must be maybe a routine meeting or routine discussion among the various stakeholders so that anything that is going to be proposed, whether we will have requests from local governments, financial institutions, or CSR addressed to the government, all this can be accommodated and we can find a joint solution to achieve that 1 million domestic biogas target, so that this is not just a program that seems far away from expectations, but so that it can be a program that can be realistically achieved. So, ladies and gentlemen, I would like to invite you to stay in this. I would like to ask you to rejoin the main meeting room. Later, at 1 o'clock, we will have further discussion. We will have plenary discussion on the potential roadmap, what can be developed by the government and also by the private sector. What can be done to create a roadmap to achieve that 1 million domestic biogas target. The session will be hosted by the Ministry of Energy and Mineral Resources We will have representatives from the Fiscal Policy Agency and the Renewable Energy Society. The roadmap towards 1 million domestic biogas, that plenary session. If you can join that plenary session, you can have a better idea. You can better understand what parts can you take to support energy independence and to support the 1 million domestic biogas, to empower the community economy, or other targets that you may have. So, distinguished participants, thank you very much for taking part in this discussion. I would like to have a group photo with the panelists and the participants. I ask the organizers to please assist this. Okay, we will do a photo session. We have one camera that is still turned off. Let me check who it is. So we have one open camera, but the speaker's not, but the person's not there. Let me check the name. Okay, let's begin. 3, 1, 2, 3. One more time. 1, 2, 3.
It's 12 hours.
Sekali lagi, Ibu.
One more time.
Sekali lagi. Oke, sudah.
All right. Thank you. Distinguished participants, thank you very much for your participation. We hope to see you again in the next opportunity. And don't forget to attend the plenary session at 1 o'clock. Thank you very much. Have a good afternoon.
Terima kasih.
Terima kasih Pak Bren, teman-teman.
Terima kasih Mas Bren, terima kasih Bapak Ibu.
Terima kasih Mbak Sari, semuanya sama-sama.